Ladies and gentlemen, weebs and waifus, welcome to Kill World here on YouTube. And today we are going to be covering one of my favorite animated series out right now. That's right, we're covering Season 4 of Invincible. After 3 seasons of Invincible, we've seen a lot. We've seen Mark, our hero, getting absolutely brutalized. We've seen cities be completely leveled, like when Omni-Man went on his epic, iconic rampage beating up his own son. And we've seen relationships fall apart, like the failed relationship between Amber and Mark. Now at this point, Season 4 doesn't just feel like a fresh start. Oh no. It feels like the moment everything finally catches up to him. What's good, y'all? Today we're breaking down Invincible Season 4, what it's clearly building toward based on everything we've seen so far, and why, if this follows the trajectory it's been on, we're heading into the darkest stretch of the entire series. Section 1. Consequences are stacking up. Think about where we left off. Mark has already been pushed past his limits multiple times, whether it was getting completely overpowered by Viltrumites, or being forced to confront the reality of what his father really is. And the show has made one thing clear. Every time Mark survives something like that, he doesn't just bounce back, he changes. So going into Season 4, it's not about what the next fight is, it's about how much more can he take before he starts making the same kind of decisions he used to hate. If you have seen my last Invincible video covering Season 3, you would know I reference a quote from Cecil that I think still resonates to this day. By the way, go watch my last Invincible video if you haven't already. After you finish this one, of course. Anyways, the quote was, "You can be the good guy or the guy that saves the world. You can't be both." And that still rings true, because it highlights that most times, heroes actually have to make very complex moral decisions on the spot. Decisions that sometimes could lead to the death of many people in order to save the whole. It's not necessarily the type of thing a quote-unquote good guy would do, which begs the question that I believe Mark is confronting with himself right now. Am I the good guy? Is it even possible for me to be the good guy? At bare minimum, an existential crisis is going on within Mark right now. Part 2. Mark versus the Viltrumite mindset. Now, the Viltrumites have always been the real threat here. Not just because they're stronger, but because of how they think. We've already seen what happens when that mindset clashes with that of Mark's. They do not hesitate, they do not negotiate, and they don't care about collateral damage. And Mark, he still does. His humanity is still intact so far. But every major fight we've seen, every time he holds back and pays for it, it pushes him closer to a breaking point. So if Season 4 continues that pattern, the real question isn't can Mark win? It's what is he going to have to become to even compete against the Viltrumites? Part 3. Eve and the human side. And then there's Adam Eve, who might be dealing with the most realistic struggle in the entire show, because we've already seen her try to step away from the chaos, try to help people in a direct, grounded way, try to build something that actually feels normal, and it never really works out cleanly. So heading into Season 4, her storyline feels like it's heading toward a real crossroads. Does she keep trying to live a quote-unquote normal life? Or does she fully accept that being connected to Mark means being pulled into something way bigger and way worse? And that tension, that's what makes their relationship feel unstable, because Mark is being dragged deeper into conflict, while Eve is trying to hold onto something real. If you remember back to Mark and Amber's relationship, I mean, it eventually became too much for Amber, to the point where she thought she could handle Mark being invincible and saving the world and being a superhero. But in reality, she couldn't handle it. And we thought Eve would be that perfect person for Mark. I mean, she has powers as well. She's also a superhero. We thought maybe if anyone would be able to relate with the plight that Mark's going through, it would be her. But as you can see, before Mark goes off to fight in the war against the remaining Viltrumites, the 37 that are left, it's revealed that Eve was pregnant and Mark was gone for a whopping 10 months during this revelation. And then we find out upon his return that she went ahead and had an abortion. And I've seen this moment come up on social media. A lot of people have been dogging on Eve about her getting the abortion. And my personal viewpoint from it was that I really would have preferred if Eve went ahead and just told Mark ahead of time before he went off to the war that she was pregnant. I think I do understand her rationale for not telling Mark because he is about to go risk his life again in a war, and having something heavy like that weighing on his conscience before going to fight could have been problematic, and she was probably trying to protect him and not telling him. Me personally, I think she should have told him before he went off to leave, but it is what it is at this point. Part 4. The scale is about to shift. If you look at the pattern of the series, every arc gets bigger. What starts as local problems turn global. What's global turns cosmic. And we're already seeing the groundwork for something much larger than Earth. So if season 4 follows that escalation, we're not just looking at isolated fights anymore. We're looking at something closer to a full-scale conflict that changes everything. Part 5, the 7 to 9 season plan. And this is where it all clicks. This is where it all comes together, because the creator of Invincible said that it could run for 7 to 9 seasons, which means everything we've seen so far, that's build up. Season 4 isn't even the climax. It's the turning point. The moment where the characters stop reacting and start becoming who they're going to be by the end. And if that's true, Mark's current version of hero is probably not the version that survives this story. Final thoughts. So Invincible works because it doesn't reset. It remembers everything. Every injury, every mistake, every bad decision. And it builds on that. So if season 4 continues what's already been set up, we're heading into a stretch of the story where things don't just get bigger, they get harder to justify. So let me ask you, do you think Mark can stay a hero through all of this? Or is this story slowly turning him into something else? Let me know down in the comments. And if you have made it to this point in the video, a huge arigato to you. And if you want more Invincible content, please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment your favorite character from Invincible. I'd love to hear from you guys. And in the meantime and in between time, sayonara.